Yeah. Yeah.
And
No.
80 ain't 100. 80 ain't really 100% right now. So it's like,
I mean, he just came back, but yeah, I didn't even think about that, yo.
bro, I didn't think about that shit till today.
Nobody's checking Steph, and we are rolling now. And yeah, nobody's checking Steph. There's nobody in the league right now that is guarding Steph. Like LeBron LeBron is not going to sit in front of him 40 minutes. He's not.
Imagine. I don't know how. Do you know how much time they're going to give teams between the season ending and the play-in?
How much time? All right, hold on. I have the rules here. Okay, so the 7th place team will host the 8th place team in a 1-game matchup, and the winner will earn the 7th seed. Right. Then the 9th and the 9th place team will host the 10th, and then the loser of that game is eliminated. Right. So then the loser of the 7th versus the 8th place game will host the winner of the 9th versus 10th in a 1-place game, and then whoever wins that will earn the 8th seed. Does that make sense?
Right. But if you go into the play-in as like, if you go into the play-in as the 9th and 10th seed, I'm guessing you only get.
If you're 9th and 10th, you get 1 game. If you're 9th and 10th, you get 1 game, and whoever loses is out.
All right, Lakers might be okay, but still, bro. If it came down to 1 game,
who's checking Steph?
Imagine Steph gets 3 days to rest because he's gonna be running.
Who's checking? This man's off-ball movement is unmatched. Nobody is running with him 40 minutes.
If it happens, Steph gonna get the Lakers that work. I don't care what nobody says. It's gonna be bad.
Steph Curry gonna throw himself right into that conversation, bro.
This for the light skins. He gonna remember this time LeBron blocked him in the finals. He's gonna get his payback.
Yo, that'd be wild, bro. Because the Warriors ain't going no. I mean, little note here before we get on the Heat here. A little note. We gotta talk about the Suns for a second. Like, the Chris Paul effect is real.
It's amazing. He's
real.
And he's done it so often. I didn't think the Suns were going to be the greatest example because he's always been like that. He was a winner in New Orleans. He was a winner with the Clippers. The Rockets were winning, but it
didn't work out.
No, the Rockets were winning prior, but they had a chance to legit get to the finals. They had a legit chance to get to the finals with Chris Paul.
But yeah, he got hurt. I remember.
OKC played really well last year, led a very young team. And bro, you got to think about it. The last time the Phoenix Suns were in the playoffs, they had another Hall of Fame point guard.
Nash.
Bro, and that's been what, like 10 plus years?
Nash. I was gonna have a fat minute. Back when Quentin Richardson was there and the whole squad. All right, now touching on Miami Heat topics here. All right, so we're gonna talk about. Hold on, I'm pulling up the topics right now. Hold on. Okay, the race for not being in the play-in tournament. So kind of piggybacking on what we are already really talking about. Speaking of the Miami Heat, right now we're sitting at 6 right now. We just coming off a 3-game win streak. We just beat Charlotte. I think it was 121 to 111.
Watch that game.
Yeah, so we're on a decent roll here. I don't see Miami falling anywhere below 7. I think we're in a good spot. I think we'll be okay. They just have to play consistent. Miami does have a tough mentality. Jimmy Butler did snap back at a reporter earlier because I guess he questioned the tough mindset that they have. I guess they're struggling, but I think they'll pick it up in the last few weeks to solidify that spot because I think they know what's on the line. Speaking on the reputation as it being on the line, it's really not a good look coming on. Even bubble or not, you just came back from the finals and now you're about to enter a play-in. Again, to the NBA, I'm kind of iffy on the whole play-in deal because I think it is it's not great. I guess it's great for like excitement because anything can happen, but it gives it a little bit of that like March Madness effect, I guess. But on top of that,
one of those things
it's
you
also
like.
It's like they're grown men. Like they worked. They played how many, like 70 some games to get there, and now you're gonna put the last couple weeks on everything. So like you have a bad couple of games towards the end, and now all that work in the early season is done. You know what I'm saying? So like by now we know who's 8th, 7th, and up. You know, so I feel like for us it's okay. Well, what can happen? There's a story here, probably money, and it's a lot. But for the players, it's kind of like I don't really feel like it's great for them. And as you know, you've seen them, all of them are like, yo, that's the dumbest thing ever. LeBron just made his comments on it. You know, I kind of think I'm kind of with them on that. I feel like it's almost a little bit like, all right, you know, like again, they're not gonna go far in the playoffs. So like again, like what really does it do? You know, it's only gonna be those top 4 guys at the end of the day, anyways. Now you do have those guys that do stick it out, but again, that's like the 8th and up. That's, you know, we're not really worrying about behind that. So I'm like half and half on the rule here. I feel like you should just left it the way it is. I think it'd have been fine. But I guess again that kind of eliminates the whole resting players deal, the whole load management. I
think it's a factor of that. One is it's another way to generate money, generate revenue. This is more a move for the fans, man. It's like, you know, I think as fans, especially coming off the pandemic and the bubble, you gotta, you know, possibly losing viewership. You want to keep fans engaged for the full. We're not having 82 seasons, probably like 70, 71, 72 games. So keeping the fans engaged, and you know that element that maybe 2 to 3 more teams have a possibility, because you know at the end of the season teams start to tank, man, and nobody really cares to see teams just throw out their worst players and just rest players. Fans want to see the best basketball content there is.
It's not a bad move. Yeah, it's not a bad move from a business standpoint. Right. It's not. I mean, but again, there's multiple sides of this thing. All right, so we're both in agreement that it's great for the fans, not so great for the players.
Not at all.
Miami, it'd be pretty embarrassing if we fall to that. I don't think we'll even get to that. Again, but I think now, speaking of the fact that we don't get to that, now we're talking about who's the perfect matchup. And I think it's a perfect segue. We're gonna end up probably playing like Philly or Milwaukee. That's just the way it's looking. Or actually, no, hold on, wait. We might actually end up playing Atlanta because we're 6.
I would love it.
I would prefer Atlanta. I think if we're talking ideal, I would prefer Atlanta or Charlotte. We tend to beat them more than a few times. Milwaukee, we can beat them, but it will be a dogfight. We've done it before. However, now, do you think they would do it for the revenge? They might just finagle the schedule here and there and make things happen, and then end up Miami and Milwaukee. I feel like that wouldn't be a bad round? Like what? They're 3, we're 6. It's possible.
I'm not worried about any team, but I would prefer not to play Milwaukee in the first round.
I would prefer not to play them either. I'm just saying it can happen. I don't want to play them either. I'm with you. I'd rather play Charlotte or Atlanta. Or honestly, New York, I'd rather do them. I'd rather see if they're about it or not. I'd rather put that Miami Heat.
That would be a really good test because New York's been playing. They got Tom Thibodeau leading that team. You know, kind of like, you know, Pat Riley back in the old days. He's gonna exert the most out of his team. So I feel like for a team like Miami that prides itself on defense and working hard, I feel like, you know, another team that may not have all the talent in the world outside of Julius Randle, but man, you're gonna have to work for everything that you get on that against that team. So, you know,
they play good together.
It'll be a really good test for us. Like it'll be one of those things. It's like, all right, we expect Miami to come out on top of that series, but we can't play around. We got to be serious because at the end of the day, man, you play around with New York, you might just lose, man. The way they're playing.
Yeah, like I said, they're playing really good together. Here's my thing. I just know the Miami Heat defense is really good about testing how through and through your offense is. Right. So again, New York will be a perfect matchup to see if they're really about it or if it's just a fluke season. I think now Julius Randle, I think, is about it. I just don't think the rest of the team can probably.
Has Julius made the playoffs yet? No, or no? No, I don't think anybody on. We got Derrick Rose and probably a couple other players, but
Rose, man, you got to be a really good story for him if he gets far with them.
Who would you say is their second best player right now? Would you say it's R.J. Barrett?
No. I'd say it's
probably
D-Rose.
D-Rose.
Yeah.
Well, either way,
from an effect standpoint, from like a floor effector standpoint, like it's D-Rose. And Randall being the obvious one. I mean, they have big guys that stretch the floor, and RJ Barrett is a factor, yes. You still have some guards over there that are nice as well. You got Frank. I never know how to say his last name, but you know what I'm talking about, the French point guard. I'm not even gonna try it. But but yeah, they still I don't think I don't think it's gonna be.
I just think with that situation, it's like you know, some of your young star players or top players like R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle, they haven't had much playoff or any playoff experience, so you know that kind of bows as a big factor. Yeah, so I think the odds will come in our favor on that, but we would still have to be on point. We still have to play hard and play smart. You know, we're not a team that ever is going to beat themselves, but we are a team that goes in a lot of lows and have a lot of low moments as well. So we just got to stay sharp.
Yeah, and I do think that. Here's my thing, man. I think that. I don't think Miami's going to fall below 7. Right, so our ideal matchups again probably falling on the lines of New York, things of that sort. You know, Atlanta, Charlotte. You know, anything below that, maybe the Pacers if they make it through. But those are our ideal guys that we want to go for. I mean, speaking on New York here, I just for them, I think they're in a really good spot because what you need in order to attract those, because what they need now is veterans. They got Julius Randle, who is that's the guy, right? And you have a bunch of young dogs around him. Now you're gonna need to go get another veteran guy, another good guy, and that's gonna attract the superstar. And now you have all these young dogs, the superstar, the veterans, and the good players. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they're gonna. So New York is on a good track here, but I definitely would like to see them try to get past Miami's defense. Now, pushing that over, there's some concerns on Miami's offense here, dealing with some injuries here. Victor Oladipo, I've been checking into the injuries, and I kind of checked into what the actual injury was, right? So he ruptured his quad tendon, which is a really bad injury for basketball players, and it's because it's a huge red flag. So I kind of want to revisit the conversation as far as what do we do when it's time to talk money here.
Right.
The injury itself is a major red flag here, because what happens is that Victor Oladipo at all-star peak form, at great form, was not naturally a shooter. He made it off of his explosiveness and his athleticism. And what happens is your quad tendon connects your quads to your knee. So obviously, you can imagine the spring-like motion in the knees every time you jump. And if that quad tendon ruptured, like DeMarcus Cousins is going through it now, where he's always getting hurt for simple basketball moves. And what's happening is now Victor Oladipo got hurt off a simple basketball move where no contact was involved at all. So I'm not saying this is the worst thing in the world, and I'm not saying he can never come back from that. There's plenty of athletes that have come back from things like that. Football example, Ryan Tannehill, for all you Miami people, like that's a perfect example there. But I'm not saying this is like the worst thing in the world, but it is a red flag. And if you're speaking from a franchise standpoint, there's really no way to know what's the right move at this point. All we're gonna be able to know is like in the future, I mean, was it the right move? At the time, it was the smartest move we could have made, but we're not going to really know. So just thinking from a franchise standpoint and what a GM should be thinking, this guy has major injury concerns. I'm not going to take him on a max big contract.
No.
I will take him on a lower contract and make him earn his money back. I would definitely be willing to do that. So revisiting the conversation, with the severity of the injury and the possibility of him returning to form from that injury, I think the possibility of it outweighs the negative. I think you try to work out a contract that's team friendly and not expensive, and then throw some incentives in there to help him kind of get his money back. And then if he proves that he can stay healthy and still produce, then you go ahead and give him his money.
I think that's the ideal situation. I think Victor will understand that too, because it's been a couple of years where he's been, dealing with the injury bug. And in reality, for those 2 years where he averaged probably at his peak 22, 23 points in Indiana, he was, more so the guy. But you're not going to be the guy on the team with Bam Adebayo, with
you're not the
Jimmy Butler, with Spo's system, man. So it's like we weren't going to get peak Vic regardless, injury or not. And we're especially not going to get it now with such small sample size. So I don't think it'll be realistic for him to expect to get huge money. I think Miami would try and take care of him in the long run if he decides to stay and he puts in the work. But like you said, I think it would be one of those situations where he'll have to prove himself and earn it.
Yeah, I don't think that he's in. I don't think that he's in a bad spot. I think he wants to work with the Heat, and I think the Heat want to work with him. I think that they're gonna get a deal done. Oladipo, they gave up. We got it. We got him. Like, I feel like we have him here. He's in a good spot. He probably doesn't want to move again. He's been talking about coming to Miami. The rumor's been
for a couple of
years. He's finally here.
Allegedly.
Are you going to cut him now just because he's injury prone? Are you going to try to just come together at a mutual agreement? Look, you're a good player. We've got a good system here. We have a good training program. We have a great health system. A lot of players come back in our system here. We're willing to put in a year or two to see where you can come back and come back to your form. And if you can, right now, put you on a team-friendly deal while we can still go get another star or another young piece to help out on offense. So when you come back, this team is ready to contend for the championship for multiple years. That's what you do. Because if you have Oladipo, he's there. You're one piece away from championship contending. Literally, you're one piece away. I would prefer that piece to be a point guard at the end of the day. That's another conversation.
I got a point guard in mind, but I'm gonna keep that to myself.
Is it Zoe? Because I'm with you on Zoe too. I'll take Zoe. Zoe
hey, man.
Better. Everybody, Duncan and Tyler are gonna be.
Hey, I'm telling you, we get Lonzo. I'm moving back to Miami, bro.
Oh, really? Really?
I'm moving back, man. I'm coming home.
Yeah. Hey, man. It's there for the good times, bro. I think Miami's on the up and up. I think both Miami football and basketball are on the up. I think the Dolphins just had a great draft.
This has been in the works for the past year, so I've been saying, I said that last year with the playoff run. Well, not the playoff run for the Dolphins, but the great regular season we had last year. Plus, Miami makes it to the finals. I feel like just Miami sports in general. I don't think we've been in a place in a very long time where it seems like all around we're doing well.
Yeah,
not just
the Marlins college too. The Marlins is straight. The Florida Panthers are doing straight too.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
Yeah, college sports too, man.
College, yeah. Just had a bunch of kids that just got drafted.
Let's go, man.
Yeah, bro. It's a good time.
Great time for the city, man.
Great time right now. Hey, well, all in all, I'm with it. I'd sign Victor if you can get him at a good deal. I'd take him.
What do you think? What would you give realistically? If you had to throw a figure out there, would you give him like 15, make him work after that, less, more?
No, I'd give him 10, guarantee him 5, make him work, and then I'd guarantee him 5, throw all the other 5 in incentives. If he gets ahead of schedule after like 60-70% of year one, then I might talk about restructuring depending on where he's at. If he comes back to boom, he's dropping 25 and he's consistently doing it and he's not showing any regression, he's not getting hurt or anything like that, and I might have the conversation.
I think the structure is there most definitely where it's going to have a clause in it like, all right, you're available to get this certain amount of money if you do this, and if you don't.
Here's why I'm not worried. I'm not worried because Pat Riley and the Heat organization have proved themselves time and time again to be financial wizards. I don't know how they've made the moves that they've made. You know exactly what I'm talking about. There's been years where we were capped out of. There was no money in the bank whatsoever.
You know you can't do anything in Miami without Pat knowing, man. That man is a mafia man.
Yo,
allegedly.
Really, like
he knows
like,
his way around some money.
Like really, like. Yo, he really made ways out of nothing for some money.
He's like the Jay Prince of basketball.
Yo.
You get that text, hey man, you was eating that? You was going out last night?
What you mean? Me? Nah, not me.
Nah, man.
Nah. Yeah, that's funny, bro. All right, well, do you have anything else? Any Heat-related topics you want to talk about? We're about to hit playoffs, so we're going to have some good stuff.
I know last episode we were talking about Tyler and, this whole is he a celebrity thing. I think this stuff that got in my head too, because I'm like, this man, I seen he made a post on Instagram. I think it was him and his girlfriend. And I never really thought about it like that. I'm like, dang, is what they're saying true? And I was like, nah. That's
I don't pay
getting in my head, man. The man is like,
just,
bro, we're all human, bro. We can't. Post.
He's gonna have a life too, bro. But like, I mean, at one point, you just want him to focus though, because it's like, bro, it's like we talking about you like you about to be the next up, like you about to be next up, and you out here.
On the beach.
But I mean, that's fine. You can do that. You're in Miami, bro. You can do that. It's fine. You just came off of a finals running your rookie. Like, there's no look, I don't have an issue with that. Just when it's time to show up, just show up. And he's done that. It's just been a little inconsistency.
I think Jimmy and UD just need to have a talk to him, man. And I think they just kind of got to give him that confidence again and let him know, man, we need you.
Don't think UD done already ripped in?
You're on borderline of being next up, man. Come on, you gotta play like.
You don't think
and he has the talent. He most definitely has the talent. Of course,
but you don't think UD hasn't already ripped into a few of them in that locker room already?
I'm waiting.
Come on, he's already
waiting, man.
You know what we need, bro? You know how they do Hard Knocks? We need one for the Heat.
Right.
Bro, because the Heat, I heard they practices are nuts. Yo, I heard they be war in there.
Yeah, I can imagine. Mm-hmm. You know, Goran Dragic out there coming out on top.
Yo, he be talking. I know he be talking trash. He definitely talks trash. He's probably the worst one, low key. He's probably Dragic is probably the worst one.
Ball out and drop 30 after getting 2 of his teeth knocked out in the same game.
Dragic is low key nice, bro.
Remember there was like a couple of weeks where he was losing his tooth like every game.
Every game, still dropping 28, 29, 30. I was like,
I'm never gonna stop hooping.
I ain't never gonna stop.
I love the game. I'm sorry.
Remember when his brother was on the team? That was fun for a little bit.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. I thought it was gonna leave a bad taste in his mouth when they cut him. Zoran. I was like,
Yeah, I was like, ooh. Man. That was short-lived. Well, listen, man. Gotta get to the next section of my day, man. Well, this has been fun. It's been right to the point. We're just gonna kind of take it day by day here, week by week. Miami Heat news just come in as it comes in, and playoffs around the corner, so we'll be there covering that, doing that, seeing those. So you got anything else to talk about, bro, or are we gonna wrap this one up?
I'm excited for the next episode. I think things are gonna start to get in the next week or two. Things are gonna get very interesting when it comes to this playing tournament. So I'm excited to talk to you the next time. See where we're at.
I think it's so dumb. I just think it's the worst thing.
It makes it exciting, Josh.
It's so dumb.
I've worked hard all year. I don't want to go into the playing tournament.
Bro, it's just so dumb. It's like, why would you they did all. I just feel like it's so disrespectful. Like they did all of this. You said, no, bump all this. You gotta do this.
I ain't gonna lie. I think I love it because the Lakers might be in it, and I hate the Lakers.
Well, I mean, yeah. If you got personal,
I don't hate the Lakers. I don't hate it.
Yeah. You hate the Lakers. You just said it. I hate the Lakers, but I don't really hate the Lakers. But
I don't hate the Lakers.
I do. You hate the Lakers. And we're gonna wrap it up after that one. Before we hit Laker, we're not gonna do that there. We're not gonna say anything wrong about that. And no slander to the Lakers at all. They're a respectful organization. But as always, Heat Live, Heat Nation. We'll be back to you next week with another news podcast. This is Guard Up Podcast. I am Josh. This is Isa, and we see you next week.
Peace.